Hi, and welcome to All Things Economic, where we spend a few minutes chatting about the quizzical business called economics. Now, please don't touch that dial. I know when you heard the word economics, you might have been panicked, but not to worry. It will be fun. And wait, there's more. I'm Gil Matthew with the Nevada County Economic Resource Council, and as the TV commercial says, wait, there's more. If you order now, we will double your order. Well, hardly anyone really wants to double their order of economics, but that notion also has its roots in economics. Well, at least in what we call behavioral economics. Now, have I really lost you? Oh, please stick around, it gets more exciting. What the heck is behavioral economics, and why do I care? Well, behavioral economics examines the difference between what people should do and what they actually do, and the consequences of those actions and their feelings. Did I say feelings? Yes, I did. So see, if I'd started this whole thing out with welcome, let's talk about feelings, you might have been very willing to stick around, rather than lunge for that dial. Since you prefer talking about feelings rather than economics, let's put this whole discussion in terms of your love life or romance. Maybe that will keep you listening. When Stephen Lovett and Steve Dubner wrote their classic work, Freakonomics, there is a notable chapter when it comes to romance. They wrote how dating and mating strategies can be influenced by economics and social incentives, such as the pursuit of higher status or financial stability. They analyze how people might make decisions in the context of romantic relationships based on what will yield the greatest benefit or satisfaction, even if those decisions are not always driven by traditional notions of love or romance. In the book, the authors use the concept of incentives to discuss how people might behave in romantic relationships. They explore the idea that individual actions in relationships can often be influenced by their personal incentives and motives, even if those motives are not immediately apparent. This hugely popular book, Freakonomics, provides a unique perspective on romance by applying economic reasoning to understand relationships, dynamics, and individual behavior within the context of romantic pursuits. So see, economics does not need to be boring or sterile. Economists love to have fun with all sorts of social ideas. If you've not read Freakonomics, it's a wonderful read, and you don't need to be an economist to enjoy the insights and the humor. In Freakonomics, Lovett and Dubner investigated various topics from crime rates to school performance, using economic principles to explain behavior and outcomes. Their approach is more aligned with applying economic reasoning to diverse and often unconventional questions rather than strictly focusing on the psychological aspect emphasized in behavioral sciences. Now, take that to your therapist and see just how crazy they will think you are. But don't take my word for it. Read some of these highly praised books on behavioral economics. Nudge, Improving Your Decisions About Health, Wealth, and Happiness. Stumbling on Happiness by Daniel Gilbert. Or Misbehaving, The Making of Behavioral Economics by Richard Thaler. They all sound like books that I might find on my wife's side nightstand. She reads that sort of stuff. You see, romance and economics are sort of welded together at the hip. And if you're still with me, let's take a look at some of those concepts from behavioral economics might play out in a romantic context. Choice overload. In the dating world, having too many options can lead to decision paralysis and dissatisfaction. Nudging. Behavioral economics often involves nudges to guide decisions without restricting freedom. In romance, this might be seen in how people use dating apps that nudge users towards certain behaviors or profiles based on algorithms designed to increase engagement and compatibility. Present bias. People often prioritize immediate gratification over long-term benefits. Social proof. The behavior of others can influence our choices if a person sees that many other friends are in committed relationships. Or marrying, they might feel more pressure to follow suit. Commitment devices. These are the tools or strategies people use to stick to long-term goals like announcing a milestone to friends and family to increase accountability. loss aversion. People often fear loss more than they value gain in romance. This can lead to staying unsatisfied in relationships. The endowment effect. This is the tendency to overvalue what we own. In relationships, this might mean overvaluing a partner or a relationship just because it's familiar, even if it's not ideal or fulfilling. The sunk cost fallacy. This is when people continue an endeavor due to the resources they've already invested rather than considering the current value. But we're talking about romance and relationships. All that other stuff is not that exciting, and I don't care for it myself. But relationships, now that is something we can all be interested in, right? The Freakonomics, they ask questions like, what do school teachers and sumo wrestlers have in common? They examine the role of incentives and behaviors in relationships. So what they do have in common. So what do they have in common? Well, you'll have to read the book to find out. So that's it for today. Next time we will dive into the U.S. debt clock.